Hello everyone and welcome back inside Pullman Field. I know what you're thinking. Another Beloit Kubb Open video. This time we're going to get in the time machine. We're going to travel back to 2024 and we're going to show you a little 2024 Beloit Kubb Open. This was a tournament where here in blue, JP, Jason Larson, and Trevor Bailey there in his trademark bucket hat ended up winning this tournament. But before they could win it, they got to play in the semifinals. And so we're going to take a look at the rankings that were at that time. So Skull with Evan Fitzgerald coming back for this tournament was 1. Chaska Noisemakers was 2. You can see us down there. We were playing as King members, myself and Josh Dobbie Feathers at 6. And Lollipop Guild number 5, Matt Green and Jake were the number 5 seed. So this is the pitch 2 assignment. The Kingmakers, Josh Dobbie Feathers, and Jesse Fraim versus Chaska Noisemakers, who were the number 2 seed, Trevor Bailey and JP. The other semifinal that was going on at the time was the Lollipop Guild versus Skull. So right now we're getting ready to line up for the King Toss. JP with the countdown, and Dobbie bounces it right in there. And me with my hands over my head, I think there is wind here. And this was a tournament where wind was a factor. If I remember correctly, a lot of times in the afternoon, teams were trying to make that decision between going first and having wind at their back. We chose to go first, and I believe they chose the side they thought was more advantageous for wind. This is a match where I don't really feel like I need to put a lot of copyright-free music underneath because we're far away from the speakers. You can't really hear much, and what you do hear is the wind. So you can tell that it was a factor this match here. Dobbie with a miss on his first baton. Rotation looked pretty good, just a little off to the left here. And I sailed that one over the top. If I remember correctly, I feel like I kind of struggled at the beginning of this match, not only in the 8-meter, but missing some batons in the 4-meter game, so we'll see what happens. Now, this is not just to get a good look at the best Kubb dog in the world, Rowan, but also give us a little better look at how those batons are flying through there. Trevor has such fast action there, it's hard, sometimes you miss what happens. One crashes out a little short, and that one gets it. So we start 0 for 2, they go 1 for 4. And we're kind of limping into this thing. We've got it going. Got one. The seal is off. We got one Kubb in play. We can get going on it. It was a magnificent day. Look how beautifully sunshiny. Just a little bit of clouds. Let's see what we can do here on our first turn. Yep, I'm bouncing it in front. Just not something you want to be doing. Got it there. Clipped it. Try to get that squirrel. It didn't roll back far enough, and that leaves Dobbie here. Come in and gets the first one. Clanks it off that baton on the ground. It still gets it. Goes 2 for 2. Can we get 3? Just till he wanted that one. He's always so animated with some of those misses and hits he gets in the 8-meter game. And mine, I don't even really give it a shot. So not very happy with how I'm starting. I've already, wasted 2 out of the 3 of my batons that turn. Let's blow it up here. Let's take a look at how Trevor is going to land these Kubbs. He's got 3 up in play. He's got 2 right there, 1 right behind. Looks like the first couple he threw in there kind of stuck a little bit. He has a lot of Kubbs that usually are north-south and not east-west. Those first 2 kind of more east-west, but they, this once again is a 100% in tournament. We're going to try to separate those out and make that, try to make it at least a 2-baton pile. We're always looking to see how can we make it 3, but with Trevor, that could be incredibly tough. Got that premature squirrel there, as you saw it clank into that one, and the baton traveled all the way back with how hard Trevor throws those. Classic lefty double here. Oh, hit a little early. Got it there with the second baton. So we still have 3 batons. There's a miss. Another miss. They looked identical, and then JP picks up 1. +1, big. Trevor was a little perplexed there. They got to ring the bell. Both of them looked good. They were just off to the left. They looked identical there. So we are up to 4 in play. We're going to throw the magnifier up to watch Dobbie do his thing. His first one sticks right in there. He's going to move over a little bit. Bounces that right over. Follows suit with number 3. He's trying to figure out just what he thinks that 4th one's going to do there. And I mean that one does a lot what the first 2 did, but it will stick out a little bit towards the king. So we'll take a look at how they set this up. We'll leave that magnifier up while I blast. The nice thing is the way this camera's set up. When I put the magnifier on here, we should be able to see the person throwing batons on the right. We should be able to still see the field cube or the baseline cubes on the far left. If we have any squirrels or Americano action, we should be able to see that. But still be able to see the blow up here in the middle, kind of get an idea for the approach that the blasters have and how they're going to clear this out. I got all purple cubes up. We kind of have a domino there on our right hand side. Got 2 of them and pushed it back into that one, so we still have 2 left. And a good clear, 2 baton clear. Looking at the ground, you were hopeful you could get that in 2, so very good for me to get that in the 2 there and put us in position. Now we are officially in the red zone here. A 3 for 3, but leave 1 for the king. Starts off with the first one, very solid. Ooh, just to the left with the second one. Just over with the third. Let's see if I can get in here. Finally had a turn where I was productive with my first 2 batons. Can I stay productive with my last? Oh, I wanted that one. You can tell with my body language. Good rotation. Looks like it was perhaps just over, just to the left, but a lot better effort with that baton than previous ones. So we are suddenly up to 5 if I have my math right. So I cut that one along the side. That one kind of holds up and stays in front. That one bashes in. And he's just going to try to rinse and repeat that same action, get them lined up along the baseline. That one will check up on that other one. JP says there's 2 to rethrow. Looks like we agree. That one's going to lay in there all right. Just trying to figure out how much room he has there in front. Oh. Try to go over the top, and it doesn't look like it's going to be in. It looks like it's right on that line. I think we'll see Dobbie here test it in a moment. Oh, just picks it right up, so it was definitely on the line. So the team here, Feathers and Fraim, going to try to figure out how we can best raise this to eat up as many batons as possible. One thing I've learned over a couple of times of playing with Dobbie is you don't rush anything in this phase. And I think that's what he's trying to tell him. I think they might be saying, hey, it's only like 4 cubes. How many options do you have? But everything in this defending phase is important to a team when you're playing with Josh Feathers. You want to carefully consider everything. There's a definitive order in which we go. And it's definitely talking everything through before you do anything. A lot of the times with these piles, we've already discussed every option before we even touch any cubes, so it does take a little bit more time. And to me, that looks like that, that one that's out there on the left could be a good. Oh, now we're going to see where they're going to place that penalty. I forgot about the punishment that they have there. Usually we kind of get an idea of how many batons we think it's going to take to clear that pile, and judged on by that number how far back from the center line we go. The more batons we think, the closer to the center line. The less batons, the further towards the baseline. But this classic JP blast here, a little lefty blast, gets 3 of them. Oh, rocks that front cube, and it stays. Then clears it. He's not happy about that, but 3 throws, 3 hits, 1 didn't go down. Gets the punishment right away. Not much of a transition to the 8 meter. He goes so fast, especially when he's feeling it. Yep. Got another +1. He reminds me a lot of the Koopsicles vibe with him. If he's feeling it, he will go fast. Then here we can see Josh over there getting all those cubes lined up, getting them ready. Weights with Josh is very important. He wants to make sure, one, he doesn't have too many cubes in his hand when he throws, and that they're all in a nice line with weights from heaviest to lightest. I think in another turn I'll try to highlight that a little bit more so you can see his process with that. But very rarely does he have more than 2 or potentially 3 cubes in his hand when he's getting ready to toss, which does result in more bending over and picking things up than someone who's going to hold them all in their hands. But everything with him is very thoughtful and considered and measured. Doesn't do anything fast. A nice rethrow back in there. So we're back up to 6 in play. Both teams have 2 baselines left. And we're going to see how they raise these up. Now, JP doesn't know he's blocking off part of this, so in some of these, if we have someone who's really blocking our view, we'll try to speed it up. But I want to try to spend a little time seeing how teams are deciding, and you can't hear them per se, but you can see some of their body language and some of the decisions with hand signals they made. Oh, JP took out a baseline a little early, a little opponent early squirrel there. So this looks like an interesting pile to blast down. Lots of different options, lots of angles here. Looking to get a few off that right side. Try to clear that whole right. Yep. I'm sure he would have loved to get that other purple, but wanted to blast that away here. See if we can get all the oranges. Ooh. Pretty violent, but kind of not a lot happens. So now you go for the double. Do you get the single? Kind of stepped over to look at that double, and I believe my captain there told me to just get that single. Got that purple cube that was up, so we still have the orange. So unfortunately that takes us out of red zone here. Unfortunate second baton by me there that looked to get a big reaction but didn't knock down a whole lot. Kind of took us out of the ability to win this turn, and you're playing Trevor and JP, you got to take advantage. Yes, that's a perfect 8 meter shot by Dobbie there. He's been feeling those 8 meter shots recently. You got to feel like this one's going to be down, and that could have been an opportunity to win. Oh, that one's just by. So, myself there, I don't feel too terrible. If he hits that 8 meter, you're like, goodness gravy, that would have been our opportunity to win. You don't get a lot of opportunities to win against these guys, and when you do, you got to take advantage. You see how Trevor has that whole stack in his hands, all of them, all in one stack. So it's all about finding something that works for you. He loves the rapid fire. If you look at how quickly he loads, before that cube is done moving on the ground, he's already got the next cube in his hand and he's ready to throw. So it's everybody's got a slightly different approach to things. Trevor definitely gives me a Koopsicles, like a Mark Blazel type vibe, for sure. So 2 rethrows there. He went, not super conservative. He put them right in the left side of the pile. They will raise out towards to the king, but because you have a lefty in JP, some of those shots where you have cubes out towards the king, and you have that lefty on your team, you have that utility knife that can come in and get some of those angles that a righty's not used to going after. So you can be not as aggressive with some of those rethrows, knowing that you have someone like JP there. Looks like we've got a lot of forces along the sideline. We're trying to figure out which ones are forces, which ones have to go which way. I think that's where you're seeing us, raise cubes up and go back the other way. We don't have the greatest look, but I think it's to test shunting. Obviously, if a cube can be raised where it's not shunted to another object, then it should go that way. So you see us potentially raise a cube one way. Oh, it's on the line. Oh, the other way is a shunt. Trying to figure out things like that. I think they're looking down that line, trying to figure out if that orange one we put up is in. JP kind of shrugged his shoulders like, yeah, I think that's in. Because obviously if it was out, then it'd have to go towards the other cube. And I think that's what Dobbie was trying to find out there. So it looked like that would shunt. So if that one shunts towards purple, but can be raised in orange, then it must be raised orange. Because if you have a way to raise it without it touching an obstruction, then it must be raised that way. That cube's going to fall. Trevor's going to race in to keep its legs there. Kind of let us put it back in there. Oftentimes you see that fall over and maybe the footprint's adjusted a little bit, moves a little bit. Trevor races in like Superman and saves that one from falling over. He's got a juicy pile of peaches here, and he kind of clears out the center. Julian from LA would be very disappointed with that. He very much doesn't like it when you take out the center of a pile here. Ooh, I think he's trying to get that double along the left. Yeah, he doesn't look too happy with his body language there. So we're going to have a split here. They're also thinking they got 2 baselines left. So they need, and they have 3 left here, so they would need a double. So let's pay attention to this baton. Oh, spins out. He's definitely going for it. Trevor loves to go after those doubles. If he could have gotten that, it would put him back in the red zone, but as it is, they can't win this turn unless they get a crazy baseline double. Ooh. JP misses just over the top and collapses in agony there. Oh, he wanted that one, folks. So we're tied. 1 baseline left for each team. So we've got 8. So here we're going to give a little look at how he picks those cubes up and puts them in a pile. You can see he's kind of sorting. He has heaviest on the right, lightest on, well, heaviest on his right, our left. Kind of looks at them, has them separated by weights. And unless I'm completely mistaken, he loves to throw the heavier cubes first. But there are times based on how you're building your piles that you might not go strictly heaviest to lightest. You might get into a situation where you want to throw a light one in a certain situation, and he kind of always has them separated into piles so that he can choose, like there, okay, I want to go lighter. I want to go to a lighter one than I have in my hand. Now I'm going to go down to my light pile, grab a lighter one, try to put it in there. So always thinking, always very methodical with how he throws those in. Trevor fluffing up that line. That's one of the things with the rule of 100% in is having debates. I was going to say arguing, but it's not arguing. Debating about when you raise up a cube, whether it's touching the line and what is the definition of that painted line, because there might be one little end of one little blade of grass that has a white mark on it, and is it touching it? Is it on the line, or is it the line? So you see some guys will kind of fluff up that line, get it a little crisper. JP riding an imaginary horse like he's in Monty Python there off the pitch to try to get a little better idea when they raise up the cubes, is it going to hit the line or not. So we've got a good lineup of cubes here. Whew, explodes the whole right side. That was almost a nasty blasty if we could have gotten that last one back there. So we've got a group up front. Ooh, did it again. It looks like I've been struggling with a couple of those cubes that are side by side with getting them both. I've been leaving one. So now we're sitting here. I need to get one of these two to get us mathematically back in this. So punch that one out. It just doesn't look like on the ground that should be a 4 baton pile, but not being very efficient with baton 2 and 3 costing our team here. So we're going to need Dobbie to clear the field, get an 8, and the king to get a win. He does the first one. So now he's got a cube and a king. He's in the red zone. These are situations you have to take these guys out. And it lands just short. It looks like it was on line just short. Ooh. Yeah. Not too happy with himself there. He really thought he could end it there. And now we go to the next frame with that Tower of Kubbs for Trevor. +0 round. You're thinking, okay, this is the round they're going to put us away. Now you get this bonus round. Can you take advantage here? This is definitely a round that you feel like you've got to win and not give them a second chance. Trevor kind of working on that goofy cut a little bit here. 2 out, at least here. JP's picked up 2. Dobbie's talking about a few of these here. Looks like there might be some room between the baseline there on the right and those cubes. Testing it, trying to put everything back to where it goes for any rethrows. So will he try to go goofy like he did the first rethrows, or will he come back and do a normal cut? He's going to go normal. Kind of stay in that first one kind of stayed out there a little bit. I think he's thinking about, like, do I go goofy and try to put him right back in there? Don't want to result in a punishment, though, either. So, move that one so that we can get everything in. Looks like. So with that one, the way it was leaning would have been out, so we have to move the one it was leaning on up and out of the way, then flatten, and then bring to the other footprint to make sure it's going to be in there. And Dobbie's kind of looking back from where the other team would stand and kind of get an idea of what they see as blasting, to figure out which way we want to move, kind of calling out. You can see me first place my hand on the cube and then try to make eye contact and be clear about what we're seeing, about where we're going to go. We don't want to have any miscommunications where I'm raising things the wrong way. So Trevor's got a nice little pile here. Lots of different options for the righty. You know, if you're righty, do you start down here and go after the orange tops? Do you bring in your lefty and kind of come after the purple tops on the left and try to clip everything, see as much as you can get in one? I think he's going to start there on the right. Yeah, clears out the entire right side. And now, oh yeah, you can. Is he going to try to get it all in one? Try to go on the outside of the front one here. Yeah, I think he's going to come up here. So it also could be a shot that JP could get. You know, I think, yeah, Trevor's saying, you know, I could try to dominate him back that way, or maybe JP can come in and try to crevasse and kind of go from his left angle, but we're going to stay right here with Trevor. Ooh, I think, yeah, that's where he's trying to hit it. It just didn't get the result he wanted. He's got the one left. Yep. And JP has been money this game on 8 meters. So let's put him right back up there. Let's take a look at that last 8 meter and see how he does. Ooh, grounds it just in front, but it's right there. And he gets it with his second baton. Yep. Trevor's reaching for that bell, doesn't want to jinx it, and there's game 1. A winner for the Chaska Noisemakers. Dobbie with the virtual handshake at Trevor. I think Trevor always goes and grabs his dog there. So missed opportunities for us there in that first game. So wasting batons early on that could have been used after that last 8 meter, but we did have a shot. We had a turn, Kubb and a king, red zone. We did have 2 turns in a row, technically, of red zones. And just couldn't close it. And when you get these guys in red zone, you've got to take advantage. So they get up a game, and they have the batons to start game 2. So they have a lead and go first. I think JP is not happy about his miss. Whew. I thought at first he's going after that first one, and he was way, way off, but he was going after the second one and got a nice hit there. I'll be thrown out there on the left-hand side to see if I can connect with get a squirrel of some kind, get a field to baseline double. It's also an opportunity to try to do too much and waste batons. So can I get off the waste baton train here? from game one? No. Obviously, as hard as I was throwing there, I was trying for that double and did not get it. Oh, connected there, rolled it back. Really needed to connect with that to make that worth it. Got that one. Ooh, just off to the right there. So +1, tie it back up, but down a game, we needed to do more in there. Not waste batons. Carrying over, wasting the batons from game one. Inspecting the ground there. I'm not sure what exactly they're looking at, but you know, JP for this team, for a lot of this teams, will stand right there on the sidelines and will give hand signals. We kind of cut off his hand signals. If whether or not it is past the line, he'll point past the line. If it's short, he'll point short to the line. If he's not sure, he'll put both hands up and kind of like, I don't know. And with the magnifier, it's not really showing it the best, but you'll see sometimes him be able to make those hand motions with it. So here you think, okay, it's only 2, but we're going to thoughtfully consider it. See if there's any options. Talk about it. Plus, when you have somebody who goes fast, it can be advantageous to slow them down. Now it's set up perfectly for a lefty blaster. Get it all in one, and now you got to watch out. 6 baton round. Especially when Trevor starts out positive, he can get on rolls. He really liked the look of that one. He'll step away, put JP back in there. JP still has 2. Gets it, and this is quickly looking like it's going to be a rout. Ooh, he... Can you take... Oh, and we're trying to walk onto the field premature. Trevor still has this one. JP's running away. You see him back there just running? Yeah, I think that's what I'm pointing. It's like, he wanted to know where his partner went, and he went running off to the bathroom. So we are hurting here. They only have 2 baselines left. We felt like we had 2 turns to potentially take game 1. We don't do it. We get into game 2. I'm wasting batons. We get a +1 only. They come back, get a couple more, and we're really against the wall here. So we need a good group by Dobbie. He's got 1 rethrow. Throws it in there nice. It looks like everything should raise up pretty good for us. That rethrow is going to be towards the king a little bit, but we'll see what I can do here. Now, to me, that looks like 2 batons. So we'll see what we can do. Starting on the right-hand side, clear that 3 and come back after the 1. If you leave any of the 3, then you can come back and try to get it. Oh, yeah, man, baton kind of grounded and hit, not at the right spot. But critical here that I get these in 2. I've been struggling with this so far. Yeah, much better. And the baton kind of carried towards the baseline. That's the shot you've been seeing me only get 1 on lately. So we need a big number here. Yep, starts off well with 1, 2. Just going to step down a little bit this time. And gets all 3. I still have 1. This would be huge if I could get it. And I finally get involved in the 4-meter game. So +4, epic turn. It's exactly what we needed to get back in it. But even with the +4, you got to think, okay, Trevor gets a good pile in there. The way JP's been throwing 8-meter shots, this game could be over. And I'm sure they're thinking, well, okay, Kingmakers are baseline clear. That this is it. We've got to make everything happen here. We've got to, not be safe. We got to go for it. We got to assume that this is the last turn. That one kind of skipped on him and bounced way back. So 4 trying to be the turn where we kind of go all out and try to win it here. It is not looking like the typical Trevor pile. It's a little spread out. Does look like should potentially line up fairly well along that baseline. Rethrow lands right back in there, but we'll see what this looks like when it starts getting raised up a little bit. We know potentially that one that skipped to the back may cost an additional baton. It is kind of behind the pile, so you're hopeful with it, especially with how hard both these guys throw, with Trevor and JP. They're not soft throwers. So you got to think that that one's going to raise out towards the king and try to be an additional baton here, because they're looking, they got to clear this in 3, and then be perfect from then on to win here. So I think you're going to see us take our lovely time trying to analyze this, trying to see, how far can we split everything out. There's a definite order in cube raising. You take care of any elevated cubes first, then any leaners, then any forces, and then anything with options. Of course, I have terrible camera awareness. I am completely blocking everything out, so we're going to skip ahead so you don't just stare on my back the whole time. But as I said, it kind of lines up pretty decent here for him. Even that one that kind of skipped out is going to be behind stuff. Oh, that one's right over the top, unfortunately, for Trevor. That one kind of clips some of the tops. It gets a handful. It looks like there's 3 or 4 left. But mathematically, he would need to get all of them here if you're not counting on a field to baseline double. This would be the baton you need to clear it all in. Oh, he's definitely going for all of them, but he ends up flying just over the front 2 and gets the back one. So you would need a baseline or a field to base double. Ooh, and the baton carried, but not far enough. So can't win this turn, but they can go +2 potentially. He gets the first one. Ooh, tickles the second, and it just doesn't go down. But he knows he's locked in. I haven't done the math on it, but yeah, he's been hitting a large percentage of these. So baseline clear for Kingmakers, and Josh is going to do his best. Dobbie's going to do his best here to try to get him put in there for a victory. That one kind of stays out to the left a little more than I think he wanted. Along the baseline there, or the sideline, and in between. He's going to try to hop him over, maybe push a couple of those from being further out to the left, kind of push them to the right. And you can see how much that wind's blowing now. Really affecting some of these throws in these 8 meters. That one's going to sit right in front of those other ones. Trying to park it in front. He's going to take a look here. You'll walk up and try to see, is that one going to be okay? Am I going to account for that one in where I'm trying to place this, or I'm going to know that it's short? I think that's where he was aiming for that last one that kind of hit a little short. One more to throw here before any rethrows. Ooh. And it clanks into that front one. He wanted to land it just to the left of where that coupe was, and it, hard to tell if it was wind or whatever, but it clanked off of it, bounced out. I think he's trying to give a little coupe raising lesson to a next generation there. I think also doesn't help that he's a little frustrated at that one that went off wood and went out towards the king. So let's move this a little bit so we can see that one. I think here in a second we'll see if we can get into the settings and move that magnifier a little bit so that we can see the one off to the left, at least when we're blasting at it. Dobbie's going to walk up there. There, made it a little bigger so we can see it. Make sure everything looks all kosher. Yeah, the ground this year, there was just several spots where things didn't want to stay. You thought you had it pushed in pretty good, it was going to stay, and they would fall over. So now I'm trying to figure out, from the blasting perspective, which way you'd rather have it. He wants to try to make an alley there, try to make a pile to the right, pile in the middle, the one off to the left. I think he's looking at, okay, how can we make this 4 or more batons? If he goes the other way, he might have a way to connect that middle two to all those on the right. We know the one on the far left is going to cost its own baton here, so let's see what I can do. Yeah, 1 is not going to do it. I need a lot more than that. Cleared out a few there, so now you're looking at it, okay. You got 1 off to the right, you got 2 in the middle, and you got the 1 on the left. That hopefully is just 3 batons, which would leave 1 for the king. What's your approach? It looks like he's going to come over to the left and try to get a double. Either be the purple to the 1 and to the orange on the right. Ooh, just missed the spot a little bit. Just gets to single. Now he's got to look for that double of the purple and the orange together. Oh my goodness, and it goes. Yeah, he's not happy about that. Slides right by. So now, do you go for the double? He's going to look at that. Do I go here and try that? Let's the wind like. The wind is a factor right now. And go for the win here. Yeah, let's get a little bigger look here. See what we're looking at. Or do I just go for 1 and have my partner go for 1 and hope they don't clear it out? But, you know, you're sitting in game 2. This is the championship's potentially on the line here. Yeah, they make the decision to go for the 2. Need a clutch shot. Oh, so close to both outcomes. So close to it missing completely and getting none, and so close to that baton taking out both. Okay, clear the field. Good pressure clear by myself there. You know, you missed that in this championship. So, I mean, it could be over already. You're thinking, okay, they've got 1 left. They've been going +1 or +2 most turns. I've had no problems with clearing. Last round, Trevor had probably his worst pile today. Will he do that twice in a row? And look, he is Mark Blazel rapid firing those. He is feeling it. So, ooh. Yeah, he's going to clap afterwards. He's very, very happy with how that's turning out so far. Now, with everything, is probably a rethrow or 2 in there, maybe? So we're going to take a look down the line and see what we got going on. We're going to say that one's out. So we've got 3 rethrows. But if you look at everything there that's still on the ground, it is very, very tightly packed in there. Ooh, that one's going to bounce a little long. Right back in the pile. Behind the pile. So 1 rethrow that's going to potentially cost a whole nother baton. But you're looking at it, so you know, you need 1 8-meter. You're probably going to need that 1 that's in the back. And the king, that's going to eat up 3 batons. So you need to clear the pile in the front in 3. And looking at it here on the ground, that's not looking like it will be much of trouble. You would assume if you were a betting man, if you could do micro bets in Kubb, I would be betting clear in 3 is going to happen. We're going through our methodic way of deciding on Kubbs. Dobbie's now back over on the other side and looking at how it might be raised. We know that that 1 that bounced out is going to be raised back to make it just further back. Now we're looking at, okay, which way do we go? And we decide to go purple. A lot of purple. Pretty tightly packed. Adjust that magnifier a little bit so you can see, there's a good chance here that a good strong baton blast may carry back to that one that bounced back there, so we want to make sure you see that as well. Deciding which angle they're going to go with, and Trevor's just going to start right down that sideline, right at it, readjusting his hat and his shirt a little bit. Kind of grounded out. Kind of hit the ground first, took a lot of the momentum out of the baton, cleared out a decent amount of that right side, but it looks like there's still some there. When you've got a utility knife like JP, you're never sure of where to use them. You could come in here, try to clear this, but Trevor's going to stay up there. That one purple one on the left back, so early squirrel, early double, so we got to put that back up. There's at least 3 here. So if you're JP and you've got 3 batons, you need to get it those 2 purple this shot, just like he did. Perfect. Which puts you back in mathematical red zone. If indeed everything is down from that front pile, then we just need the one that bounced back, and they're trying to figure out who's the man for that job, who's the one that can get that one. Ooh. And I think he was throwing to try to potentially, hit that hard, and it just kind of grounded out in front of it. So JP gets it. Oh, and he's so close to the double. That would have put them with 1 baton left for the king, but as it is, the Kingmaker will get another turn, and yes, what could have been. Trevor knows that was a big miss on that one back there. Maybe trying to do too much. It almost kind of looked to me like potentially he was trying to go for a double, the field to baseline double. When it's that far back, you have a much better chance. You feel a lot more confident with potentially getting a double there. So maybe he went for it when he didn't need to, but so close. But gives Kingmakers another turn that they honestly, I don't think we felt like we were going to get another turn. 9 in play, 1 baseline. They've gone +1 or +2 most turns. Lucky to get this turn here. So we have all 10 cubes in play. Josh going through his process here of plastering the sideline with cubes that have to be forced in. There's for sure to be at least a few rethrows here, but he is getting these things to hop on over, landing just to the side, and see, I jinxed it, and hopping nicely over the pile. Now those are kind of lined there, but they're going to line up okay. 1 first throw remaining. Wind howling again. Ooh, similar to last turn, it kind of clips and potentially, get blown in the wind a little bit, clips that front one and bounces out. So that one will be further out towards the king. Ooh, 1 rethrow. Yep, he breathes a sigh of relief. It hits and bounces in there nice, but will tighten up the pile pretty good. I wasn't sure what JP was doing there, but he's got it. He's got it. Footprints intact there. Lots of options there along the sideline. Lots of feet to look through. You see both me and Dobbie looking on, trying to see how they're going to raise this, how we're going to approach it. Sure why I'm doing that with my head. I don't know if there was a call there that I wasn't 100% in agreement with or what was going on. Kind of shook my head a little weird, and then Dobbie was looking at me. Now we wanted to in or out call, and I'm going to stand right in the way so that you can't see nothing. This kind of gives you an idea how long some of these turns can take. So you can't really hear what they're discussing, but they're trying to figure out their options. There's obviously 10 in play. If they can somehow make this where we have trouble clearing, and they can, you know, get an advantage line, or it takes all 6 batons to clear, then, you know, they feel like they're going to win the whole tournament. So you definitely got to take your time. You know, with that one, JP's had to straighten back up a few times. You want to make sure you get, you know, enough where it is not leaning, that it's not going to be easy to knock down. And it looks like, I think the issue is shunting related. Trying to figure out, sometimes when you have an obstacle either way you raise it, and it'll you know, there's going to be something to shunt to either way, makes it a little more complicated, because you have to figure out, you know, does it shunt both ways, and then it's up to the defender if either way it will be a shunt, of which hot order to do it. And then, you know, that can somewhat change the footprint depending on which cube you raise first. So I think not only trying to make sure that they're all raised according to the rules and doesn't prevent another one from being out, but what's best for them as defenders as well. Ooh, so that one doesn't do as much damage as he hoped. He kind of did connect to some of those off to the left, like I said, but we need to get that right side cleared out. I leave one. Man, I am just making it tough on. I think Dobbie's like, hey, let me step up here and try to get some of these, connect them. He has a very effective kind of soft toss here, where you see a lot of people when there's distance, they will throw really hard. Where Dobbie, you know, sometimes goes soft and uses that baton to hit exactly where he wants the baton to carry on. So I think now we're trying to decide, okay, who's going where. 2 batons. Sorry, 3 batons left, 2 cubes. So we are in the math. We can't have any misses. And if there's any misses, it's going to make it extremely tough on us, or cost us an 0-2 loss here. Checking his toes. Gets it, and you see how that's a softer toss, and it's still almost connected to the other cube. So now, 2 batons left, 1 field. We got to get a pressure clear here. If I got a history of missing on these single cubes in both games so far, can't afford one here. Oh my goodness, that one hit so early. There's Trevor doing a little yoga back there behind the... It's really stretching that out. Well, we got a king toss. And we win. Yep, big exhale. Get out of there with a game 2 win. Push it to game 3. So 2 turns to try to win in game 1. We're not able to do it. Chaska takes advantage, wins game 1. Both teams with an opportunity to win in back-to-back turns in game 2. We're not able to do it. They're not able to do it. And we just do enough to close it out in game 2. So now we move on to game 3. And momentum swings back over to us, being the ones going first. Choosing our weapons here, choosing our batons, which we have to give 2 to the other team. Which 4 do we want to start with? I always tell my partner, find one that you love, not one that you like. Find a baton that you love, that you're in love with first. Oh, that looks so pretty, but just a little short, and bounces over. Figure you got to get 1. You can't afford to go 0 for 2. Oh, just clipped it over. Some of these teams, if they're the ones that's going to be blasting the cube down with 1, they'll have them throw it to find a spot that they like. And you don't want a punishment on it, though. Yeah, he's going to go a little bit deeper, and it ends up bouncing a few times back. He's not happy about that. He'll step up here. This is their 4 baton return. Big opportunity. Oh, yep. Just by. It's a little deeper than he wanted. Got it there and gave his baton a chance to get a double, but he doesn't get it. Big opportunity to take a lead here. That one jumps over, and he gets that one. So +1. 1 each. swings the momentum back into the Kingmakers' favor as they have the first 6 baton round. Only 2 to clear, so a huge opportunity to take a potential big lead in their second turn. If we can clear this in 1, that would give us 5 batons at 8 meters. And even better, you saw Trevor try to race that one out, and it was going to be on the line. So now it's closer together. Better opportunity to get 2. I've been struggling with this shot, and I don't hit anything. Not what we're looking for. Not inspiring confidence. Twice in a row is a mortal sin. And then I can't have any luck. Get 1, so that 2 baton pile is going to cost us 4 batons, which at this pace, at this point in the game, at this point in the match, it's enough to kill you. Definitely enough to kill you. Puts a lot of pressure on these 2 batons, and there's a miss. We need another one. We needed at least 2, probably. And we get +0. That is a killer. And you can kind of see Trevor here collecting himself. He knows this is a crucial turn. That was a disaster by Kingmakers. Their chance to get a big stranglehold in game 3, and they didn't do it. These look to be lined up along the sideline, so they should both raise kind of out there together. And a great opportunity for a lefty thrower like JP to use that face towards him here to try to connect and get this in 1. If he can do it where I could not, that'll give them 5 batons and actually put them in red zone. And see, he gets it. Trevor has 3. JP has 2. That puts him in red zone here. Knocker has it and gets it. Hits on top and it goes down. He says, give me another baton. 2 for 2. 3 for 3. 2 batons left. Kubb and a king. And he gets it, yeah. So where we could not take advantage, where I failed us, JP succeeds. Kills the king. Dominating game 3. We went from kind of slow and both teams not taking advantage to 100% accuracy there. And so they win game 3. They eliminate us. Josh grabbing that bell, the Chaska bell, and putting it in the sign to hopefully they don't find it there. And the Chaska Noisemakers move on to the finals, where they play the Lollipop Guild. I think that was streamed Kubb on, but I don't know if I have the footage to be able to string that one together. But they end up going on to win the tournament in a year that Trevor Bailey was the 2024 Kuban All-American Team Player of the Year. So he was the National Player of the Year of all players in America. Very dominant year. But sometimes when you see all those tournaments on paper, see all those wins, you miss some of the small stories here. I wanted to bring you guys this semifinal action that I recorded last year. Ran out of time to put it together to show you that, when these teams win tournaments, there's often close calls along the way, and what could have been that could have stopped their momentum, which gives Trevor and JP, they had a very good year this year. They both made the All-American team. Trevor was Player of the Year. To be able to overcome those, this could have very easily been a 2-0 loss for them. They take it in 3 games. They survive those turns. Take advantage of the spots where we give them an extra turn and have one really dominant turn at the end of game 3 and really just put the dagger in us. I know it's still a game that Dobbie and I talk about that, man, we had it. We could have done that. But woulda, coulda, shoulda has no place in Kubb. So congratulations to Trevor and JP on this victory, and then they go on to win the finals that take place after, that I'm sure you can find somewhere on YouTube or Facebook. But until next time, I'm Jesse Fraim, and we'll leave it here, and there'll always be another game for us to talk about. See you soon.